16 after 6 on this Tuesday morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for staying with us. Of course, it is now time for us to head over to the headlines with our girl, T to the K. How are you, TK?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You good?
I'm great.
You're good?
I'm great. How are you?
We're good.
I could tell.
We're good.
I could tell from the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But who I really want to know is how is Cup Soup Boss, that hairstyle man?
He's recovering.
Yeah, I see it.
He's in stable condition.
I see it.
At a facility.
All right, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about what's happening in the headlines. Another fatal student stabbing. Another family is in mourning after news of their child's death hit home. An altercation between 3 students at the Catholic College in Mandeville in Williamsfield, Manchester, soon developed into a fatal stabbing. But while 17-year-old male student Antroy Clark was hospitalized for treatment, the female was pronounced dead upon arrival. She has been identified as 20-year-old Akeelia White. Her mother, Mayon White, says she's unable to come to terms with the saddening reality. Along with her, an entire school now mourns. Counsellor for the Belfield Division, Mario Mitchell, who was nearby at the time of the incident, says it's quite unfortunate. Though unable to visit the scene, Central Manchester Member of Parliament Rhoda Crawford sent her condolences to the families and the school, and she says she's already in contact with the Ministry of Education. This incident is now the 3rd fatal altercation within the education sector.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a problem with violence and resolving conflicts, and we've been saying it several times in terms of the need. I mean, you remember that we spoke about peace and love in school, PALS. I'm not of the view that it is an escalation or an increase, because I don't see the statistics that support it. What tends to happen is that when we pay attention to these things, we see them more and we report on them more. And so right now, it is a season when it's in our face, and it seems like every day we hear another one.
Absolutely.
But the truth is that they do happen, and we have to figure out how to, de-escalate things.
And this is,
which is why we have to search, all the bad them we search, and these uncomfortable things that happen at schools. I mean, the police and the school resource officers and the Safe Schools program from the Ministry of Education, all of these resources can be deployed, but you can't deploy them in every situation. So at what point are we going to take some responsibility for how we stay?
Yeah. No, you raised a really good point about the statistics and having the numbers, and then there's numbers and there's just feelings, and it just feels like this has escalated, or it just feels like there's more, or it feels like it's getting worse, or there's just
the access to the information.
It's strange. Yeah. It's strange that this isn't an escalation, because it doesn't seem like it has been like this forever.
You know? I saw a clip where they were speaking with, I can't quote who it is, so I'm going to be cautious in trying to quote. But the gentleman that they spoke with said he definitely, as an educator, feels like there is some sort of shift happening on the back of lockdowns. And it made me start to research if globally there has been a behavioral adjustment on the back of the 2 years of lockdowns and lost learning, and because even though there was a level of learning, it wasn't the same. Right? So there was lost social interaction. And I started to read into it, and I do wonder, and I actually would like to throw the task out to someone who is in the field of study to perhaps look if there's a correlation between lockdown and people being socially isolated and changed behavior, and particularly how it presents in adolescents and teenagers. Because there may be something we might need to look into.
I've seen some of the literature, but not specific to that, but literature that relates to, for instance, the impact of emerging from the COVID period, lockdowns, and the return to normal school, because there would be many people who would have significantly lost the experience
Correct.
of social interaction,
Correct.
of how to be, how to engage, etc. Because when you're sitting in your kitchen on the tablet you're not learning how
It's
to interact.
Correct,
I mean,
correct.
but I mean,
and there's a critical developmental period. So while we always speak about the 0 to 7, so we know that there was, so the children who were born in that period, there's a study that confirms now that they have a delay in social interaction.
Absolutely.
I would like to know if there's a similar study being conducted for teenagers and the response in teenagers who are hormonal.
Well,
Well, we'll look into it. Let's look into it as we run into the next headline. It's a crocodile. Patrons at Salt River in Clarendon encountered a movie-like dilemma over the weekend when they came face-to-face with the king of the tributary, a crocodile. Subsequent footage showed men capturing the creature, muzzling it, then securing it with rope. Some of those persons were later identified as members of the Caribbean Coastal Area Management Team who accompanied terrestrial biologist Damian White. The government back in 2019 had identified Salt River as being ripe with potential for tourism. A subsequent environmental assessment found that protected species like crocodiles would not be affected during the project. However, following a similar sighting last April, former Maypen Mayor Winston Mirage issued a warning against some activities he said may lead to animal displacement. But Executive Director at the Jamaica Environment Trust, Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, is pointing to another potential cause. The 12-foot croc has since been relocated to another location, but the event has reignited calls for more warning signs in the area. Can you imagine?
I feel like I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say it because it matters to me, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to continue to say it. Humans have to realize that we do not dominate the planet. We have to share the planet, and there are other species that are here who have their own habitats and ought to be able to live peacefully in their habitats.
We're going at them place.
We literally keep doing it.
And you know, and for the sake of entrepreneurship, we keep expanding into their spaces.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, we need to put up more warning signs, because
Leave
warning
place.
signs is the answer, right?
No.
Warning signs? No, we
There
don't.
are places
like, you know.
and spaces for every single species, and they're critically important to the ecosystem. So we need to stop disrupting every single ecosystem for the benefit of the humans. We need to learn to share the planet. Leave the crocodile.
I just think that, I mean, and then people are like, crikey, there's a croc. Look at it, it's a beaut. Let's go check it out. Leave them alone.
The challenge with that, Yendi and Dennis, is that the truth of the matter is living things expand. There's expansion, there's growth.
Yeah.
And so when we grow as humans, we need more space. When they grow as crocodiles, they need more space.
Hold on, no,
you know?
well, we need to grow sustainably.
All right,
Correct.
fair
You
enough.
understand?
Because are
And
you
we
going to
need
tell me that you need to grow so you're going to build a hotel right on the mangroves? We need to grow so we're going to build a hotel right on the what is something
And
you
if they're,
usually what
and they're
happens.
territorial enough, so if you move them,
The reef.
they will come back.
Yeah.
They will come
Yes.
back, and then you're like,
Tony,
What are you doing
Tony,
Let
do
us-
you know that when you see that lizard in your living room, you know that lizard returns to the same place every single night? You
It's
know why
true.
he does that?
It's true. It's
because
like his
they're
home.
territorial.
oh,
Yeah.
my place.
So the lizard
Yeah.
that you see in your living room go back behind the same painting every night, because that's a film painting. Now, if another lizard try come around there, them fight.
Yeah.
Because that's his painting. You know what a
another
crocodile
ducky?
is?
Another ducky?
A wizard.
Another piece.
Not a ducky.
You know what?
Unless
Can
you
we
stone
please,
it. Well, if you stone it, your head swell, then it's a ducky.
let's break this up by moving on to the next headline, because I feel like we, but I understand.
We need to learn to share the space, man. They're critically important to the ecosystem. They must be able to be in their habitat.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I
Fair
agree.
enough. Fair
I
enough.
Go beach and river, go north coast. South coast are for the crocodile. You don't like me?
Next headline.
Crocodile teeth.
Continuous crash carnage. Constant crash carnage has left some in authority frustrated, as despite the appeals and cries for caution on the nation's roads, the mayhem persists. Only last weekend, 6 lives were lost, among them 2 children. Dr. Lucian Jones, the vice chairman of the National Road Safety Council, NRSC, dubs it a crisis for the nation, with many mothers now weeping. Sunday evening, another fatal collision in St. Catherine, in which a pedestrian, sometime after 7, allegedly walked into the path of a motor car traveling along the PJ Patterson Highway near the 400 to 500 kilometer marker. It's alleged he made contact with the vehicle's left wing mirror before falling and then colliding with another motor car. He was pronounced dead at hospital. The sting of death was also felt in Manchester, where early yesterday morning, just before 2, a man reportedly slammed his Nissan AD wagon into a truck laden with cement that was being hauled by a trailer along the Winston Jones Highway. The tragedy is worsened only by the knowledge that no one offered a helping hand after the incident. Winston Jones stated that the message of safe driving must be echoed even louder than before. So,
Dr. Lucian Jones, I don't think the man who the highway was named after was the person who said it. But Jamaica is one of those countries where you see, in other countries, when you look at road fatalities, you can establish a direct correlation with drink driving, for instance.
Right.
In Jamaica, it tends to not be the case. You know, when you test people's blood alcohol after an accident, they're not drunk. We just drive really recklessly.
It's a recklessness.
And so
in our
we make the decision to overtake when we shouldn't. We make the decision without being inebriated. We make the decision to drive bad.
So I find it to be just a level of selfishness. I want to do this, I'm going to do it. I want to overtake, I'm overtaking. I want to speed, I'm speeding. There's no consideration of others. It's selfishness.
You're right. It is a selfishness.
But again, I'll have more for you in the news at 7. But our Sunrise Community Challenge continues. This week, you'll be tasked to guess the CVM original show. Each day, we'll share a blurred image of a CVM original, and we'll be calling 2 lucky Sunrisers on Friday to guess the original for a chance to win $25,000. But you must be part of our Sunrisers community, so go to our social media pages and click the link in our bio now. And if you're not on social media, send us a WhatsApp message, 876-833-0897.
I don't know. That's where you stop the music. That's where you increase the volume.
Get me out of here. Come wrap it up so I can come off of the set. Please. Get me out of here. Madness.
No, we don't want you to go. Maybe that's why we don't want to wrap it.
Director, tell them to rap, please.
Don't.
Producer, tell them to rap.
All right. It's now time to take
What did you say? Rap, TK?
Rapper. Get me out of here.
Oh my God.
Out.
We're gonna break, I promise. But when we come back, it is time for Fluency Flex. Dennis, we're gonna need your help. Le lever du soleil continue après décroître.
Après ça.
Sunrise
Croissant
continues.
en Paris et France. Croissant.